You're listening to the GLP-1 Studio Podcast.
Welcome to the GLP-1 Studio Podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Bonello, and today we're jumping right into the updates. We have some really juicy ones that are very time sensitive. In just 9 days, there are 2 GLP-1 community meetups. The first is with Downsize at the Peachtree Westin Hotel on November 3rd. The second is November 4th with BioCare. And there is going to be a whole lineup of GLP-1 names you might recognize, like Anna Reisdorf from the GLP-1 Hub, from Carlos and Kat Carter from the Plus Sides podcast, and many more. I'll be there from November 2nd to the 7th at the Peachtree Westin. I would love the opportunity to shake your hand and hear your story. So stop by and say hi. There will be close to 30 GLP-1 members at each of these meetups. And BioCare doesn't just have one meetup, they've got like a whole day planned of events. A walk and talk, they're going shopping together. It's a whole thing. All of this is free and open to the public, and we would love to have you. Check out glp1studio.com for all of the meetup information. Today, I'm sharing an interview with Nicky Cayan, better known as Nicky GLP-1 Wellness. Nicky is a GLP-1 advocate who did not just lose weight with the GLP-1, he put muscle on. You can find him 7 days a week in the gym, or you could just watch his TikTok where he posts motivational content and shares his progress. He's been sharing his journey since day one, and his transformation is really inspiring. Thank you for motivating all of us, Nicky, and thank you for sharing your story. Your mustache looks absolutely lit.
It's turned into something I did not expect it to turn into.
Yeah. Sort of like the GLP-1 journey. I'm sure that was kind of unexpected.
Oh, 100%. Totally. I did not expect it to even be this close of a success at all.
Let's go to the beginning of this story because now I need to know what you mean by success. Are we talking physically, emotionally, mentally, or like with people online and in your life?
We're talking all the feels.
Okay.
Let's give you the backstory. So in 2020, I was diagnosed with diabetes type 2. And I knew I had something because it ran in my family, heart disease, high cholesterol, everything. So shout out to the parents for the great genes. During that time, the company I worked for said that you can get X amount of money on your HSA card if you do your routine physical. So I did that. I didn't really do regular checkups because I knew it was going to be exactly what it was. This is probably like the second time I visited her. The first time was to get blood work and stuff. So the second time, which was this diagnosis, she basically said, you have diabetes type 2, you need to eat better, less sugar, and exercise. And of course, this is during COVID, so everything's like super strict with like the 6 feet and the time constraints. And so this was like a 15-minute visit, basically. And then, of course, I have like 500 million questions about how to do this because growing up, we all had family members that had diabetes. My parents did. And so it wasn't really spoken about like how to beat it. It was kind of just like go to the doctors, get your medicine, and then move on. So that's kind of like how I treated it. Fast forward to November of 2024, last year, totally with a new company. And I was like, I need to get a refill on my medication. And so the doctor was like, okay, before you come in, I want you to do blood work. I'll send it in. And then that way we can just keep you rolling instead of a gap of time. And so I went in, did all the things, the normal stuff. And he's like, oh my God, I can't believe you're alive. And I'm like, why? He's like, your A1C is ridiculous. And I was like, oh,
Wow.
like I knew it was going to be high, but I was like how high? And so he's like, your A1C is like 12.5. And I was like, oh, that's, not too high. He's like, you're supposed to be under 6. And I'm like, oh. Well, then, yeah, that's kind of high. Prior to this appointment, I heard about Ozempic. That was the only GLP that I knew about because it was so mainstream with pop culture and the celebrities getting into it. I've tried the diets, the shakes, the insane workouts, like we've all did, the pills, everything. And so I was like, oh, do you think you could write a prescription for Ozempic? And he actually, I guess, has other patients on GLP-1s. So he's like, no, I'm going to write you for Mounjaro. And I said, okay, what is Manjaro? And he basically told me the gist of it. And he said, it's a dual agonist and it's going to help with your A1C and blood sugar since you're insulin resistant. And I was like, okay, cool, because this is all the same language I've heard before. 3 days later, I picked up my Manjaro, and, the pharmacist said, make sure you keep it refrigerated. And when you're ready, take it out, wait 15 minutes, and then go ahead and do your injection. There's instructions in the box. And I'm like deathly afraid of needles. So I was like, okay, cool. Acting all nonchalant, casual. I go home with it. And I was just sitting at my dinner table with my shirt up and I'm just holding my belly. And I'm like, holy crap, this is real. And I sat there for a good 15 minutes, like hyping myself up. I read the directions like 10 times. And I was like, why am I so scared? And it wasn't because of the medication. I wasn't afraid of like what's going to happen. It's just the needle. And so I
Yeah.
did it. And then I was like, not as bad as I thought. He didn't really say much about what to expect with this medication. He basically said, I'm going to give you a referral for a dietitian and then you'll go over things of that nature. But of course, I'm looking online and trying to find things about GLP-1s or Manjaro, period. But everything I found on like mainstream was like how to purchase it. It wasn't about what to do
Mm.
while you're on it. And TikTok was literally the last place I looked because my TikTok prior to my whole journey was just reposting stupid videos of fails and cute pet videos and stuff. So it wasn't about anything serious. It was very light stuff that makes me laugh and like unwind at the end of the day. So it wasn't even what my whole TikTok is now. I mean, I'm a creator, nothing like most people. But then I went on TikTok and I just searched and I found a few creators who were on GLP-1s, but I think the ones I found first, they were already so far along in their journey. So they were pretty established and they were already in maintenance. So I'm looking through all of their old videos and kind of trying to gauge through like, what do I eat? How often do I eat? Because I didn't know anything. I only knew that I'm supposed to take it once a week and I'm supposed to lower my sugar and all the normal stuff I've heard all these years. And so that opened up a whole can of worms. I would look in the comments, like, when you find a funny post and you're like straight to the comments to see what people are saying. I went into the comments and then I found other creators who are like, thank you for posting this. And so I kind of went down a rabbit hole that day after taking my first shot. And I found creators that were more new to the journey than, like 18 months, 2 years.
Who did you find?
The ones I found that were already established were Chris. He doesn't even look like he was on the GLP-1. I found Jackson.
I knew Jackson was going to be one. That's why I asked. I was so curious.
But the creators I found that were newer to their journey, they were female. And those were the ones that were very active in the comment sections. So I was like, okay, cool. Let me follow them. And then I just kind of looked down their posts and everything. And I found like what they eat, what they avoid, but they were very clear, like this is what they're used to, what their body is accepting or what they like. So it was very specific to them. And then of course I'm like, well, is there side effects? And so their side effects are not going to be the same as mine because I don't have PCOS. I don't have a monthly visitor. So I was like, holy crap, how do I gauge this? Because they're like, oh, I woke up and I felt bloated and I'm nauseous. And I'm like, am I going to feel that way too? Maybe I should start documenting my stuff. So maybe another male who is looking just like myself can kind of reference. But those females, though, shout out to them because they actually like guided me in the first like 4 or 5 months because I didn't know what I was doing. And it was a lot of trial and error. And I'm grateful that I've learned through that because, man, there's no manual when you start taking a GLP-1. And I think TikTok was such a great resource because you get real information in real time. It's not this thing that's documented and printed.
It's entertaining too.
Right, exactly.
There's a whole nother aspect, and it's social.
Totally, totally. And so I just started recording, and then I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm so serious when I record." I was looking at my first few posts and I'm like, "Oh my god, how obnoxious and boring," because I'm not like that. I'm very lighthearted, and I have a sailor's mouth, and I just joke about the most inappropriate things. And so I just started documenting just basic stuff. And in my journey, I've noticed a change of confidence from photos of myself because they were always like, take photos, measure yourself. And I was like, oh, I don't want to take photos because I know my angles. I knew for a fact that I would have to face a mirror, which would be the one in front of me, and I would have to take photos of myself. And that was something that I was a little anxious about because I never took photos of myself by myself. It was always with a group of friends or with my dogs, not just because I'm ready to take a photo of myself. And I'm like, holy crap. I started doing like the bathroom selfie in the gym, just in the mirror. So it was like half my torso. And I didn't catch this until like maybe a month or two ago. I was like, when did I start taking full body selfies? Like, when did this happen? It was funny because I would look back in my phone and I'm like, huh, March, look at that boost of confidence. That's the physical part, but also the mental part is what a lot of people don't talk about. It opens like a whole thing. Of course, it's the physical, like everyone sees your changes and, you see your changes, but like the mental part, I have a lot of time when I'm in the gym, self-reflecting in thoughts. And I'm like, am I gonna look like this? Or what am I gonna look like in a month? Or, things like that. This is the mental part. I remember once I was like stressed out from work and I was like, F everybody, I'm just gonna go through the drive-through and I'm gonna get me some cheeseburgers and tacos and French fries. And so I did. And I remember I like ate it and was not happy. This is like maybe 2 months into my journey. My stomach wasn't happy and I sat on my throne for a good whole portion of my day. And so I was like, okay, never going to do that again. And so that's like when I took things a little bit more serious because I wasn't really paying attention to like the foods I was eating. I was eating less, yes, but I wasn't eating maybe the right things. And so that's when I kind of shifted and I was like, maybe I should really document like the things that work for me because it went back to like, maybe I want to help that person that is new to this whole thing and maybe they don't want to share their story. They just want to be the random user with 5 million numbers, just going back to my profile all the time. And so then I like took it a little bit more serious. And then I noticed with my mood changes, like if I was happy, emotional, sad, upset, stressed, that was my trigger for food. And that's when I knew that is what it is. That's what the food noise and everything was. And fast forward to now, I still have the thought of like maybe like turning, like the trigger will be there. And I'm like, huh, that's when you would want to get fast food. And then now I'll just come home and eat like a bowl of yogurt and be like satisfied.
Yogurt? That is my go-to, brother.
Listen, yogurt to me was like the Yoplait with the foil. And then like when I actually took things serious, I would look at like the nutritional facts and I'm like, oh my God, I can't have this yogurt. There's so much sugar in this small little 8-ounce thing. And so now it's like I was telling my boyfriend, I'm like, I can eat yogurt, chia seeds, and fruit with a little honey on top all day, every day. If I could, I totally would. Like, there's days where he's like, "What do you wanna eat for dinner?" And I'm like, "I don't know, you pick." And he's like, "Do you wanna have yogurt?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." And he's like, "I was joking." And I was like, "Oh, you don't have to tease me with the"
I read something recently about people on GLP-1s preferring yogurt and cheese now. Apparently, it's a whole thing. When you said yogurt, I was like, it's true. It's gotta be true.
Yeah,
You had said that type 2 diabetes ran in your family. I think up until GLP-1s were out of the pantry, people did think that they just had to live with diabetes forever. They didn't even know they could reverse it.
no, and the thing is, it's like, I grew up in Hawaii, and everything was just structured around family and food, and it was never about, "That is too much calories," or, "That is too fat," or, "There's not enough protein in that." It was all about just gathering and just, you know, the whole being a family and just eating. It was never about nutritional facts.
I actually lived in Hawaii when I was younger, and they had whole celebrations around the pig in the
Totally.
ground,
Yeah.
right? It was all about the food. Like, we were
Yeah.
literally dancing around this pork getting ready
Yeah.
to chow down.
Yeah. At my high school graduation, I had a pig.
Oh, they're so good.
It's part of the culture. Like everyone's gonna have enormous amount of foods at any celebration. It could be a first birthday party, it could be a baby shower, it could be something as small as like getting a new job and everyone's just gonna come and celebrate. Like it's always about food. And my family never held it against me being as big as I was or the things I chose to eat. And I think I remember my dad kind of mentioning like maybe I should eat healthier. I think I was like seventh or eighth grade and I was setting the dinner table. And I remember my stepmom would make me something separate if she knew it was something I just hated to eat. And which I appreciate because I never ever went hungry, obviously. So I remember my dad was like, "Did you ever think about losing a little weight?" And I got so upset because
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, well, I still remember as a kid, I would get teased for being fat. I never I got teased for being gay, but it wasn't as bad as being big. And I grew up around these like slim, skinny Asians, and I was the big Asian because I'm Hawaiian, so I mix with Polynesian. And so growing up, I was always the bigger kid. And so when my dad just kindly asked, and I don't ever think he's meant it in a malicious way or meant to call me fat or anything. He just asked me, and I got super emotional because there was a lot of like teasing that I held in. Now he's like, "Oh my God, you lost so much weight." And I'm like, "Yeah, I lost all this weight. I don't know what to do with myself now." But my only regret is I wish I did this sooner. And everyone says this that's been on the GLP-1 or is on maintenance. We all say, I wish we started this sooner because honestly, look how much doors it opens up and look how much better you feel. And it's actually a life changing drug. And everyone says this, it's a life changing drug. It is. It really is because we're living proof of what the results are. Everyone's journey is going to be different, but look how much healthier all of us are because of this medication.
It's very true. And you had mentioned when you were going to take photos, when you decided to document your
Mhm.
journey, and I'm really glad that you did because we would not have met if you didn't.
Yeah.
And all of the people who have benefited from your content would not have had you as a resource. So thank you for sharing your journey. Personally, I know firsthand how hard it is to take those photos
Mhm.
and even more so to share them.
Totally.
It's a whole thing I haven't even been able to get over myself yet. It's people like you that give the rest of us courage to take those steps too.
I don't think I'm as confident as I seem. I think a lot of it was putting in all this work, like in the beginning, maybe the first 6 months, I would just worry about the scale and I would be on that thing every single day. And everyone's like, don't let it rob your happiness, of your journey.
Mhm.
But I was like, I need to make sure I'm not slipping, Everyone's going to say that, trust the process, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, trust the process. And I say this to people who are new to, but they're going to step on the scale regardless. I know that for a fact because we are so taunted by the upbringing of our fitness culture in our country, maybe the world, but we all think it's supposed to be a quick fix, overnight. And after going through this whole journey and approaching my 1 year, I have no regrets on this journey, but I do regret being so fixated with the scale.
Yeah.
But I think it's just kind of something that's engraved in us because we're in that generation where image is such a big thing. And I think now that I'm getting older, I don't care really if I have a six pack or not because I'm not trying to be a Victoria's Secret model. I'm not trying to,
Well, you could be.
I mean, hey, listen,
You're looking fabulous.
thanks. But I'm not trying to sell my, body online or anything. I mean, good for you if you are, but I was never that person. I'm never going to be that person. But I read a lot of motivational quotes and I post some too sometimes. But there was one quote that hit me kind of like to the heart where it's like you change everything of your lifestyle to be healthier because you were failing yourself all these years. And it's true. It's a very hard truth to accept. But I was like, you know what? I was failing myself because I was eating so horribly, not exercising, making excuses for myself. When really, at the end of the day, I'm the one that's going to be dealing with it, nobody else. So that's like when my mindset shifted. You see that I'm at the gym every day, which is kind of psychotic of me, but that is the motivation, is that there was all these years I could have done something, but I didn't. And that's why I
Well,
take it so serious, with going to the gym. And everyone's like, why? You need a rest day. And I can say there are days I don't want to be at the gym, but I'm gonna still give it my all because all these years I had time to do it and I was just letting time slip away. And I wanna keep living longer. So why not take the time now?
I want to get into the causes of obesity because you said something there that I think is how a lot of people feel. And I think that what a lot of people don't realize, including people who have suffered with the disease of obesity themselves, we're all so hard on ourselves, right? Like you're here saying you have been failing yourself. What, how long had you suffered with the disease of obesity? At what age did you start to have weight issues?
So I look back at photos, and I think it's gonna be elementary. I was always taller in my age group, like my classmates. I was always taller, less those little short Asians. I think my weight picked up. I'm gonna say, and I'm not blaming my parents, but my parents divorced when I was in second grade. So I'm gonna say it was like third grade was when my parents' divorce was finalized and we no longer lived under the same roof. And I think, and at the time, my parents had their own homes, and a lot of it was the fast food because they were now a single parent. And my two older siblings were living on their own. So they didn't have to worry about older siblings. And I think my parents kind of fell back on like the drive-through. And I don't blame them because I think about when I hit their age when they had me, I'm like, holy crap. I don't, well, one, I don't want children. But two, I'm like, I cannot imagine having an infant at this age and then going about life. I mean, granted, yes, economy was different back then, but still, that's like a whole thing. So then I thought, "Oh my god," when I was in 3rd grade, having a little kid with them, being a single parent. And that's why I give parents, like, such a big, like, I applaud them because I would not be able to. Like, I'm all about kids, but if I can give them back, I will give them back. So, shout out to the parents out there. But 3rd grade is, like, when my weight picked up, but it was never brought to my attention as a kid, like, "Oh, you should exercise more," or whatever. My parents gently suggested, like, they would be like, "Oh, do you wanna join this sport?" or "Do you wanna do this?" Like, and I would say yes, because I played soccer as a kid. I just bounced from sport to sport, but then it was like, when I started getting bigger, they didn't pressure me to do it, but they supported me if I wanted to do something. So, I think that's when it started to trigger, and the thing with obesity, I think for me, food was like comfort. Like, it would alleviate whatever emotion, negative emotion I was feeling because I was happy I was eating something, and that's just my experience.
It's a common experience.
It's something that you can just go back to and just be like, "Okay, I'm satisfied," or "This is comforting."
We eat when we're happy, we eat when we're sad, we eat when we're celebrating. It's a cultural thing and food is it's a hard topic because there's so much more tied into it than just the calories, right? And the nutrients. 40 to 70% of our genetics determines if we have obesity or not, or if we're predisposed to having obesity.
Right.
It sounds like it runs in your family, right?
My family, they're not obese, but they have, like, high blood pressure, diabetes type 2. I think I just like eating. I still do. I just can't eat as much as I used to. It's really amusing to me, like, when I get full and I'm like, "Huh, woulda killed that for another round too."
Just there's so much that goes into causing people to end up overweight. And you would never look at a child and blame them. So you shouldn't blame yourself.
I don't blame my parents because they were just doing the best they could do, and
Yeah.
I don't blame myself, for being as big as I was. Maybe I could have made better choices 100% as an adult, but, now I'm trying to right my wrongs and, like, share my experience, and hopefully someone can find my little TikTok page and guide their way through their wellness journey, you know?
I just think about all the little us's,
Mhm.
right? And when you're a child, if you have obesity when you're a child, then you are very likely to grow up to have obesity. And then once you have obesity, it's like a lifelong struggle trying to get to a normal weight and torturing yourself for not getting
Oh,
there.
totally. Totally. Our generation, I would say, like the 2000s, like fitness and health culture was so toxic. I'm glad like all these documentaries are coming out, like the Biggest Loser documentary, the rise and fall of Abercrombie and Fitch, and even the one that just came out on Hulu. I think it was like a 24-minute one, but it's the jab. What was it? The shot. It was about the gray market. It just came out on Hulu, and I watched it last night, and I was like, "Huh, that is crazy." You need to watch it.
Haven't seen it. My gosh, I'm so curious and not at all surprised. Because I've been talking about the gray market since I started this journey, mostly trying to say, hey, don't cut people off from state regulated options unless you want them to go to unregulated options. Like, that's the only choice. People are not going to give up their medication,
No,
not when they're having life changing experiences like you and I are right now. I mean,
exactly.
could you imagine? Could you imagine not taking your medication anymore? Could you imagine just losing access and let's just say you could not get it back and you knew you couldn't?
I wouldn't be able to because it really changed my life in all aspects, like physically, mentally, and I just feel so much more healthier and stronger. And I don't know if this is what normal feels like, but I like the feeling. You know what I mean? I was in major denial with my health because I will joke around my friends and be the clown 100%. And when we would joke about like physical appearance, I would, make myself the punching bag, the joke. And which is not
Mhm.
good for someone's self esteem. And when I started this journey, that's what I identified. Like, I was like, oh my God, I would joke about this and make myself the joke, Or my other friends who are big, we would joke about eating all these things. And in a way, I think that kind of made us feel a little bit better because we're not feeling alone in that sense. But it's kind of like the unspoken thing. But now it's like everyone notices, and I'm like, come with me. You can do it too, But it's really up to the individual, like if they want to do it. So it is a whole transformation. Like you retrain your whole thought process, your whole routine physically. Mhm.
You're spending all this time in the gym and have all of this time to think.
Totally.
And that's like quality meditation
Yeah.
time. You don't have to be sitting still with your eyes shut to be
No.
meditating. When you're at the gym every single day, you're getting that one on one time with yourself.
Loud music blasting in my ear, but totally by myself. That's why I tell everyone,
Yeah.
like, the gym is like and if you told me this before I started this journey, I would probably laugh in your face and think you're crazy. But now it's like I'm there every morning. People are like, how long do you spend time at the gym? I'm like, 2 to 3 hours. What? Yeah, I do. I have a whole checklist that I go through every day, my workouts. And for me, I like a good routine. I think that's what keeps me kind of sane, even though I'm also self diagnosing myself with ADHD. But I it keeps me sane when there's a routine. I'm not opposed to change, but like I kind of want to know in advance. So like I'm that type of person, but I love it. I can't put into words how therapeutic it is because I can't explain it. I feel so much better walking out. And then I feel like I'm ready to conquer the day, whatever it may be. So, whatever it is for someone, stick with it, you know?
What do you think would happen if you had to come off of your medication?
Well, I know for a fact there are different avenues that I could take. And I'm a little anxious now because it's enrollment season for insurance, and I don't know if well, I'm pretty sure my insurance will cover it again, but should the unexpected happen, I know I can move to compound should anything happen.
Well, I mean, hypothetically speaking, you had to come off of it and you could not get access to it again. And I'm not saying like, would you go gray? I mean, physically, what do you think would happen? Do you think you'd be able to maintain because you do have muscle, you work out every single day. It sounds like you have healthier dietary habits. Do you think that if you came off this medication that your food noise would come back? Did you have food noise before the
So
medication?
funny thing about food noise, everyone spoke about it in their videos on TikTok. And I was like, what is this food noise everyone talks about? Like, I don't know what that is. And I'm like, what is it? And then people would be like, oh, I don't think about food. And I'm like, I always think about food. And then it's like right in front of me, like, bro, that's what food noise is. And so it didn't occur to me till maybe about 3 months into my journey when it stopped. I was at work and I'm a manager at a grocery store, so I was just on my feet. I'm on my feet all day,
Surrounded by it.
surrounded by food, right? And so, I'm just doing all the things I have to do at work. And usually I'm always, and this is before I would be like, I'm so hungry. What can I eat on my break? What can I eat in 10 minutes that will hold me over to my next break? And this one day where I was just super busy. And when I took my break, I got more water because I was like, stay hydrated. We don't need to be not hydrated because we need to traffics need to be flowing back there. We can't be there's no time for backups. So that's a whole different thing. But so I'm like, okay, go get your water. And then I just kind of kept going. And that day at work, I didn't eat anything. And I didn't realize this until I got home. And I was like, oh, time to eat dinner. Like, what am I going to eat? Because I haven't ate all day. And that's when the light bulb finally went on. And it was like, oh my God, you didn't think about eating something. And I was like, oh, that's what food noise is. And I didn't know that. I thought I was broken the whole time. And people are like, oh, my food noise stopped immediately. And I'm like, am I broken? Am I missing something? Did I miss the post? Is my medication wrong? Am I getting a knockoff? Because I'm not I'm like, I thought about food, but I didn't stop thinking about it. Because I'm such a routine person. So I'm like, what do I have in the refrigerator that I can make for dinner? Or what do I need to grab because I need to make dinner or make lunch or breakfast or whatever it is? But that day when I finally didn't eat anything because I was so busy, it finally clicked that there was no food noise. I was just so distracted. And usually, if I was on the like prior to my journey and I was busy like that, I would think about food. I would always be like, okay, grab something quick. Are they making hot dogs at the deli? Or am I going to grab potato wedges? Or am I going to steal cheese samples from the cheese island? Like, what am I going to grab? Am I going to go to produce and grab a banana? But those things are not running through my head anymore. Now I have to remind myself, like, maybe you should eat something.
I interviewed Carrie Lee Parker Mast in season 1, and she said the same thing. It took her, I think she said until she was on 7.5 milligrams to actually realize what food noise was, that she was losing some weight, but she didn't understand what it was either
Yeah,
until
that's
then.
7.5 is when it happened. That's when I started.
And what do you think you'll do when you reach the ceiling?
I don't know. I'm kind of open. Honestly, this whole journey, like I told you how I like to have everything planned, this is something where I'm kind of just keeping it open. Like I'm just kind of waiting to see. I
Ah,
remember in the beginning of my journey, a lot of my friends were like, "What is your goal weight? What do you want your body to look like?" And I'm thinking, I don't know. I never thought about this because I've always been big, you know? And I'm probably the smallest I've been in years. I don't even remember how young I was when I was the size I am now. It's crazy.
you said something that stuck with me. You said that when you first started this journey, you had thought to yourself, "What am I gonna look like?" And it sounded like that was kind of an anxious question. And I still feel that way myself now. Are you do you think that you'll continue to lose weight? Are you going to continue to lose weight? Are you getting close to maintenance?
I have a doctor's appointment next month. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I'm still losing weight little by little. I've had my first plateau in the past 2 months, which was long awaited because I was like, "Is this gonna happen to me? Am I gonna keep losing? Am I the miracle that everyone speaks about?" I'm just kidding. But when I plateaued for the first time, I was doing all the things like normal, staying to my diet, eating the protein, working out, and I was like, "Oh my god, it finally happened." I almost wanted to celebrate and post about it and be like, "Guys, I finally plateaued." I wasn't anxious about it. I was more anxious the week after because 'cause I'm like, "Am I gonna gain?" That's like when I locked in even harder. I'm like, "Okay, let's go. Let's see what happens." And then I lost the following week. And then the following week after that, I plateaued again. And I'm like, what is going on? So I don't know if it's maybe I am towards the end, like where I go into maintenance. But I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna lose more or if my doctor suggests I should go into maintenance because when I look at myself, and this is the mental part, when I look at myself in the mirror, I still see my old me. And I know for a fact what I see in front of me with the naked eye is what I look like now, but I still think in my head, I'm still that 366 pounder looking at myself in the mirror, scared to take photos, you know? It's a weird
Yeah.
feeling because I know I look different now, but in the mirror to my eye, I still see it from where I'm sitting looking down. I still feel like I'm still my old self because I still look the same to me. But when I look in the mirror, obviously I'm a little different, but I still think I'm that bigger person that I used to be. I don't know how to explain it, and I think everyone that has been on the journey understands that explanation. There's no I don't know what the word is. Maybe it's body dysmorphia, I don't know.
When you're bigger your whole life and you're used to seeing yourself the way you are your whole life, and then suddenly you look like not like
Yeah,
yourself, then it
it's
makes sense that it'd be like a mind game.
totally. Even when people are, like, telling me, "Congratulations," or they're giving me a compliment on it, I don't know what to say. I never got those kinda compliments before. I still don't know how to take it. I just say, "Thank you," but I don't know. People are like, "Oh my god, congratulations." I don't know what to say.
How does it make you feel when they say that?
I feel a little awkward because I'm not used to compliments, you know? It's the opposite. I'm used to getting like, it brings back childhood trauma, but it's like, "Thank you?" Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mean to not take it. I just don't understand the feeling of getting a compliment. And one of my friends, he's like, "You need to start accepting your compliments and getting used to it." Like, in my head, I'm like, "I don't know if I can," you know? It's nice to hear, but it's different,
Yeah.
you know?
This last interview that I did with Dr. Angela Tran, she said that when she has a patient on their journey,
Mhm.
she says, "You tell me when people start giving you compliments because it's gonna bring up a whole lot of emotional stuff."
Totally. That's why I said it's a whole like, nobody talks about the mental part or the emotions. Everyone talks about, snacks, or even I'm guilty of this, snacks or how much weight I lost and all this other stuff, but the mental part is just a whole thing. You can make a whole different podcast about the mental part.
Yeah, seriously.
So,
Can I ask, this is a kind of a personal
yeah,
question, and you don't have to answer if you
I'm an
don't want
open
to.
book.
Have you been wrestling with loose skin ever since the weight loss?
So that is also a reason why I'm in the gym every day. I remember in the beginning of my journey, a lot of the creators that I referenced early on spoke about they're going to get skin surgery because of the loose skin. And I'm like, holy crap. If this works, am I going to have loose skin? So the thing is, everyone told me when I was bigger too that I carry my weight very evenly. So a lot of my loose skin that I do have is my stomach. And I don't know, because I go to the gym every day, I don't know if it's gonna tighten up. I don't know if it's gonna be droopy. Like, I don't know what my body's gonna do. And honestly, I'm not worried to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get surgery. Let's cut it off. I was never afraid to take my shirt off if I were to go swimming, or change in front of someone. I don't care. You see how big I am, you know? What are you gonna see? Like something smaller underneath? Like, no. So I think my loose skin is like my inner thigh. There's a little loose skin and my stomach. My ass was the first thing to go, so I'm a little sad about that. But, it's all right. It's all right. So that's why you'll see me do a lot of sumo squats because I'm working on the inner thighs. I worked on my arms a lot because my triceps used to be really saggy. And amen, Jesus, it is a little bit tighter. But like for my stomach, torso, I know there's muscle under there because I can see like a little definition, but I still have that loose skin. And I'm okay with
Mhm.
that because I used to be squeezing into a 2X. I was in denial. I was at Old Navy and I'm like, oh, they got a 2X. I can fit it. They got a 44 waist. I will make it fit. And I would make it fit. And my stomach used to play peekaboo a lot of times. So now that I'm like moving into a men's large and I could possibly be a 34 waist is mind boggling to me.
I have had a droopy stomach ever since I had twins. So it's not new to me. What does bother me is my butt. This is the first time in my life that my butt has not been big. And I don't like that. And I would like to continue to lose weight because I'm still not at a healthy BMI. And to be honest, I've never been small. So I'm really curious
Yeah.
if I were at a healthy BMI, what that would look
Yeah,
like, what that would
100%.
feel like.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not necessarily out of vanity because I feel good about myself the way I am now, but I am curious and I know I feel better now, and I'm wondering if I would feel even better if I were lighter because now when you work out, everything's easier. You go up the stairs, it's easier. You go on a hike, you're at the gym, like kind of feel so light. But my butt started sagging. This leads me to the next point. Protein. What are you doing to get the correct amount? Because you look fantastic, so
Thank
you
you.
must be doing something right.
There we go with the compliments. Thank you. I don't know what to say. In the beginning, I found out, greasy foods, fatty foods did not sit well with me. Learned how to deal with that. Whole another podcast. Chicken sat well with me. And then I found along the way my favorite vegetables causes sulfur for burps. So I had to eat more friendlier vegetables that don't cause it, I guess, or eat things that are already fermented, like kimchi or like pickles. My main diet is that I've been eating grilled chicken and brown rice almost every day. I can guarantee you everyone's going to be like, that's so boring. But I'm like, if you only knew the type of traffic and gridlock it causes or, speeding traffic that it causes, it is not comfortable. People are like, just take what over the counter stuff. Yeah, yeah, but it's not fun. So early on, the first 2 months of experiencing all these side effects, I'm like, I'm just gonna stick to something that is like really easy on my stomach and I'm not gonna like die from. So it's chicken breast, brown rice. Sometimes I change up the vegetables. I mean, I still eat broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, Brussels sprouts, but like the bell peppers, onions, and mushrooms are probably my go-tos because they're not rough on me like the other ones.
All those greens can cause kind of sulfur burps, right?
I was eating so much salad in the beginning because I thought, how our culture makes salad so healthy.
Mhm.
That was gassy. So I was like, maybe we should slow down on this. And then other podcasts that I heard, this one fitness guy, he's like, if you find something that is working for you, spam the hell out of it with you until it gets old. And I have been spamming grilled chicken and brown rice like no other. And I'm okay with that. Because there are times where I will treat myself and eat a steak, or I will go out to dinner with my boyfriend and eat sushi, But everyone's like, what are you eating? And I'm like, it's a really bland, boring diet, you guys. It's nothing exciting, nothing to brag about.
I was just thinking about this the other
Mhm.
day. I could eat the same thing every single day now, where before GLP-1s, it would be boring. Food was exciting. And I can't even handle like my dad made barbecue the other day. I couldn't even eat one rib because it was so fatty and greasy that it just turned my stomach. And I'm like, I have to find something that I can live with because at this point, I would be just fine eating the same thing every single day if it meant I could hit all of my goals without any
We could
troubles.
eat yogurt all day and hit our goals, but that's not the case. that's only a part of it. But honestly, it is chicken breast. Everyone's like, "What do you eat?" And if you could look at my refrigerator, it is all chicken.
How do you make it?
So in the beginning, I thought I was like Chef Boyardee, and I would buy chicken breast and grill it and, make it all nice. And I'm like, this is too time consuming. I have to go to the gym in the
Yes.
morning. So I'm like, I work at a grocery store. Let me see what they have in the frozen aisle. Grilled chicken already cooked. Amen. Throw that thing in the microwave. I'm sorry that it's so boring. It gets the job done.
I think I know which one. Is it like the strips?
Strips. Yep.
Those are my
Yeah. It's
favorite. You can put them in anything. They
totally.
taste so
You
good.
can defrost it and put it into a salad. You can eat it by itself. You can eat it with brown rice is what I eat it with. And even people are like, "Well, what brown rice do you buy?" I buy the 90-second, throw it in the microwave.
Instant. That's what we do
I
too.
am
The
all
instant
about
brown
I'm
rice.
all
Yes.
about the less amount of dishes the possible because I grew up in a trauma
Convenience.
where I had to do dishes. Hate it. It all goes back to my parents.
No, you poor
It all goes
thing.
back to my parents. I'm just kidding. It's like, oh, the least amount of dishes I can make, the better.
Yeah.
Totally. And I mean, my boyfriend does a lot of the dishes, so I'm like really thankful, but still at the same time, I don't want to make a lot of dishes. And so it's
Mhm.
just quicker and I just try to simplify everything as much as possible. I'm always about
Yes.
work smarter, not harder.
Yes.
And I give credit to the people that cook everything from scratch. You go, Glen Coco, but it's like
Oh, yeah.
I don't have the time to cut up all these things and make these great inspirational TikToks of how easy it is to cook these things. No, give me 7 minutes and I will have my dinner ready.
Yes. Yes. Me too. Same thing. I do not cook. So if there's a cheap, easy way to do it, let me know. I'm
Totally.
all for it.
Totally. When they show their videos or they make the photos and their posts about their food, I'm like, oh, if I had the time or the patience to cut all those vegetables or cut the meat and just have the time to let the quinoa boil. I don't. I'm sorry. You guys are great. Come to my house. It is a boring brown rice and chicken breast type of meal. I'm so sorry.
That's the way you like it.
Totally. And even people are like, "You don't put sauce on it?" I'm like, "No, I'm a type 2 diabetic. That's too much sugar. I can't do that." They have the
For
sugar-free
you.
ones, but
Good
I'm
for
like,
you.
"No, it's fine the way it is." You
Yeah.
know?
If you don't feel like you need it, then it doesn't
I've
matter.
always been a plain Jane kinda, like, person. Like, even with hot dogs, I remember, like, people are like, "Ooh, are you gonna dress up your hot dog or your sauerkraut or whatever?" "No, gonna eat it by itself." They're like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Why not? It's so good." I don't know, I'm just weird like that.
What is your number one recommendation for anyone who is just starting this journey? Because you're right, there's not a lot of solid resources out
Yeah,
there, which is why I started the podcast and why I started the nonprofit and why I do what I do everywhere else, right? We need as many resources as we can
totally,
get.
and shout out to you, Amanda, because you were one of the first people I found too on TikTok, and I was like, "What is this chick about? Like, what is she why do people need access?" And I was very naive in the beginning. I didn't know, insurance didn't cover everybody. I thought, "Why not?" Why wouldn't it not cover? And then got more into it, listened to a lot of your podcasts, and I'm like, "Holy crap, that is effed up." So
Thank you.
and then that's also, like, a reason why I did my TikTok was because these newbies that come in, you see all these other creators who are with telehealth companies are just trying and this is a whole different podcast, Amanda, but I'm just saying really quickly, these creators that are with telehealths that are on these lives and just trying to sell it, it just makes me upset because it's like, I get it, but at the same time, it's like we're doing this because it's for our health. And I get there are people out there that are just so desperate to like lose weight. I get it. But it's like, do it in a safe way, Don't do it where you're buying it from like a like spa like the gray market. No. For a newbie, you need to know it's not going to be an overnight fix. This is a journey. Like it's going to be forever. It's not going to stop. It's forever. And it's all about consistency. I see so much people like if I go on a live and I'm on TikTok, and people are like, "What do you eat?" You know, the basic questions, and then they're like, "Oh, when are you gonna stop?" And I'm like, "I'm not. This is forever," you know? Or, "What is your secret?" And I'm like, "Consistency. It's really about
Yeah.
consistency." And I always preach this in a lot of my posts. It's always about consistency. Yeah, you can eat whatever you wanna eat, but are you ready for the consequences of, like, side effects? Are you ready to gain maybe a pound or 2 because your body is not gonna accept the food you just ate? Because you can eat essentially anything you want, but, there's consequences, and that's why I'm just this whole journey has opened up my eyes, like, a lot of my friends are like, "What do you spend your money on now because you don't buy that much food?" And I'm like, "Yeah, because prior to my journey, I was eating fast food every single meal. I was going through the drive-through 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a day because I was just hungry. Now I spend it on protein powder and peptides." I should take a photo and put, like, a before photo of, like, a pantry and then, like, my pantry now. I just moved in with my boyfriend, and I was setting up our pantry, and I looked, and I'm like, "Oh my god, this guy is probably thinking I'm crazy because 3 shelves of just protein powder and supplements is out of control." I'm like, "He really does love me because he doesn't care."
Well, he knows how much you go to the gym, so he has to have expected that.
I was looking at it the first day we moved in, and I was just putting stuff away, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm so obsessed. When did I become so obsessed like this?" Because it's like, as soon as someone tells me, "Oh, did you try this protein powder?" I'm like, "Oh, what brand? What flavor is it?"
He's a protein powder connoisseur.
Along the way, man, I would just collect protein powder after protein powder, supplement, or what TikTok pushes on my algorithm. It's kinda humorous because now it's shifted from fast food to, like, supplements and protein bars.
I know that big food is starting to cater more to the GLP-1 crowd because we are spending money in different places. They're losing money in the old
Mhm.
places. They're moving on to the protein places. You're seeing it blowing up. I could not be happier. I am so happy to have options. I do not care if they're marketing to me. Bring it on. I want the stuff that's made just for me. Let's go.
My company I work for, they now have a whole protein line. Shout out to Kroger, but it's a whole change for the better, this whole journey. Um, I don't regret it at all. 100% don't regret it. I just wish, like everyone else that has started their journey, that we did this sooner.
I I could talk to you forever. There's so many other things that I wanna say about, like, children getting this medication so that they could start sooner, and I wanna thank you for what you said because I don't feel like, in the grand scheme of things, I've done anything.
No, you have.
So, to hear you say that you didn't even know access was an issue
Totally.
before you saw the podcast, it just makes me feel a little bit better about maybe reaching at least one person.
You have. Honestly, in the beginning, I was like, why is there a podcast about GOP? I was like, "Oh, cool, it's gonna be more informative, like, about, like, foods and journeys." I mean, it is, but I didn't know, like, the whole access was huge in this part. And then it really
Yeah.
opened my mind because I was so fixated on me, I didn't know others didn't have access. I thought this was kind of like a whole general thing where everyone can get access, and I didn't know that it's a it's like this. I didn't know it was like this, and that was because I listened to your podcast when I'm at the gym. So it's, like, really
Thank you.
great that you're spreading the awareness because people need to know that this life-changing medications, people don't have access to it, and I don't understand why. And I know it's because of money, but it's sad that it has to be limited, but yet, things that are bad for us are not limited. Tobacco, weapons, drugs, those are not limited to us. We could easily get those right off the street.
People are getting those GLP-1s right off the street because of that
And
now.
that is very scary. I'll send you the name of the show on Hulu, but oh my God, it's crazy that people will go because they're that desperate to lose weight. And I get it, but I think for me, prior to me starting this, I kind of just accepted it. I'm like, I'm going to be big for the rest of my life. This is who I am, but this medication has given me back what I thought I was going to lose, you know? I just wish everyone knew this, and instead of having that whole stigma of cheating or you're taking the easy way out, really I'm not, because I don't think I've ever worked this hard for my health before. Like if they knew all those mornings, like you will see my TikTok, glamorous, great. You've lost all this weight. You have this muscle. You're eating this protein bar. That's great. You're fitting whatever size shirt. You do not see how great I look at 3 in the morning when I wake up, sliding out of bed not to wake up my boyfriend, being quiet because I don't want to make noise. You don't see me taking additional peptides on top of my Manjaro, to keep my energy going. Like, you don't see the ugly behind what I post because obviously that's not appealing and TikTok's going to ban me from that. So it's like, it is a journey. Maybe it is easy way out for those who don't need it, because if they took it, that's probably going to be easier for them. But for us who were obese or are obese, insulin resistant, PCOS, or whatever the case is, it isn't easy for us because it's a whole shift of life for us, because this is all we knew was being big and kind of just
Yeah.
dealing with what we had, So this whole
Well,
journey is kind of new.
someone once said to me, you would not judge a woman who is trying to get pregnant for using a fertility drug, right? Her body, it's not working. She needs medication to help supplement her hormones so that she can get pregnant. No one would judge someone for that, right? So when someone is trying to fix their broken body with medication, like anyone else, that is not an easy way out. That is fixing a medical problem.
Totally. Something similar. Like, you don't judge people for drinking coffee because they're tired, but you're judging us for taking a medication that helps us with our health. That makes absolutely no sense. It's like, you don't judge people for drinking alcohol because they want to have a good time or relax or wind down. So why is it any different? You know what I mean? We're not judging people for taking ibuprofen if they have a headache? So it's like, okay, maybe it's just the easy answer for them because they don't understand. And I think with people like you with podcasts, sharing people's stories, or even these creators who have big followings that are, sharing their stories, they're educating these people who don't know what it's about. And I think people are so stuck to mainstream media that you don't get to see it. You only see the sponsorships from celebrities, which is great, but you don't see the harsh truth of everyone else. Like, I don't think my
Yeah.
story is really significant compared to other guests that you have. You sent me the message to like sign up for this. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to share my little story about my little GOP journey.
Your story is relatable. People hear this and they can hear themselves in it, right? The whole point is not to be like, wow, this is an amazing, crazy story. Like everyone's going to want to listen, but it's about feeling a connection, right? Because I hear your story and I feel like it's therapeutic for me. And that is a large part of why I do it, because I know that other people will listen to your story and they're going to be like, wow, I feel like I know this person and I feel close to this person. I've never even met them.
Yeah, they probably had backed up traffic like me, or they probably don't like ketchup touching their food. It's stuff like that. But honestly, it's like a really great life changing journey.
Well, I am so grateful that you came on and shared your story.
It's been an honor that you've even asked me to share my little story with you.
I love following you and watching your stuff and seeing you grow. It's been amazing. So keep it up.
Appreciate it. Get those chicken strips and continue to do what you're doing. Totally support the GLP-1 collective, 100%.
I want to give a huge thank you to every single one of you that made it through to the end. Your support means the whole world to me, and it makes every bit of everything that I do worth it. Thank
This
you.
isn't just a podcast. This is a movement.